Is this a desk?
Yes.
Are we talking about sports?
Yes.
So does that mean
This is
SportzDescx?
SportzDescx.
SportzDescx.
We're back.
Yum.
You're back. We're here. You're
Guys,
there.
it's another episode of SportzDescx. More mediocre quality content coming your way. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get the show on the road.
Let's get it on the road. Tonight, we have Curtis coming in as our first ever special guest.
We love that.
Love that man.
We love
excited to have him. Really looking forward to it. He is a great dude. Knows a lot about baseball, so he's going to be covering quite a bit in that aspect. And then the man also offered me a trade that I think we're going to be talking quite a bit about, which we'll get into once he gets on, and then we're going to debate on it, and I'm going to tell him no, but he doesn't know that yet.
In fantasy football, so we'll see.
Yep. So, for starters, WLC Sports was off to quite the busy week. It looked like on October 2nd, women's golf ended up with first.
Great job, guys. Or
Way
girls.
to go, ladies.
Ladies.
And then October 3rd, we had a quite the lineup. We had women's cross, men's golf, and women's tennis. So, women's cross came in second out of 4 teams on the 3rd. Men's cross came in first, winning a trophy, which was pretty cool for them. Way to go. Let's see here. Men's golf also placed first out of 2. So I guess their coach is still doing well. I think they're on a win streak, a first players win streak for the last couple of days.
You know, despite the rumors of him being on the hot seat, he has answered with quality wins for the team. No doubt about it.
That man can handle the pressure.
You almost wonder, is he better when the pressure's on?
He's got to be.
Some coaches are just that way.
You just can't answer those questions. Right. I mean, but yes.
So let's keep campaigning for his firing, and we'll keep winning.
Women's tennis also took place on October 3rd, but they ended up losing in a close matchup, 5-4. On October 4th, so these are just days in a row, bang, bang, bang.
You're just doing so much sports.
Women's tennis back at it following day. Had a victory against Simpson 6-3, and then they followed that up. It was a doubleheader, and they ended up losing to Cornell 5-4, which was really close actually. And then men's golf also had another matchup on October 5th, which was, what day is it today?
Today's the 7th. That would have been Monday.
So it was Monday. And they won that one as well. So their coach is just really pulling through with all these clutch victories.
Is that Cornell loss against the Ivy League Cornell?
I can only imagine.
How did we land that matchup? Interesting. Makes you think.
Yeah, we drew lucky straws. NBA Finals are going on yet. And it looks like the Lakers are kind of running away with it right now. The games are at 3-1 in the series. Lakers are up. The Heat are still looking to retaliate, come up with another stand to force game 7. Yes. But yeah. So it's not looking too promising for the Heat right now at the moment. They recently played on Tuesday, so just last night, lost 102-96. Game 5 is scheduled for Friday at about 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Should be a good matchup. I expect it to be very competitive, very close. Part of me says that the Heat are gonna come through with the win this next time around to make it 3-2 in the series.
You know, with the Heat being down 3-1, you could say that they're playing cold. Jonathan tells us that it's not the Ivy League Cornell. It is a D3 school, and he played them a few years ago. So it's not the big fancy Cornell, but it's still a Cornell all the same.
Is this the same Jonathan that needs to work on his pitching? He's not a baseball player.
Well, obviously you're not either.
I'm not a sports desk talker.
Come on, dude. I'm not carrying this week again.
Looks like we have a lot of actual comments and stuff. What do we got going on?
Jonathan says the Lakers are going to win 4-2. I'm calling it. Okay. That's not, if they win this week and then win the next game, that would be correct.
Wow. You're a math magician.
But I, for one, am hoping the Heat can pull through because I don't know. I like LeBron. He's good. And Anthony Davis is good. But all year it's been, the Lakers, LeBron. Come on. Who doesn't love a good underdog story? I know Miami's a pretty decent team consistently. But, Jimmy Butler, I really like him. I want him to win the championship. And it'd just be cool to, have the talk not be centered on LeBron all the time. So I'm pulling for the Heat to come back 3-1. That's unlikely, but the Warriors did that a few years ago to the Cavaliers, so anything's possible.
That is true. And I'm also pushing for the Heat just because I don't like teams that are like stacked. I get like that's the name of the game and it's a business and everything. But I don't like teams that are like absolutely loaded with players. So like Golden State and the Lakers are two that really come to mind. Like they just have absolutely phenomenal athletes on their team. Mm-hmm. But if that's what it takes to win, like that kind of like it takes the competition away from the game, which is amazing that the Heat are keeping up with it.
Jonathan says that you should work on your punting, Skylar. Ouch! You hate to hear that. Ethan,
do they have all conference tennis players at all?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Are you gonna make a joke at Jonathan?
No, I was just gonna say.
Oh. Ethan says that he liked the Heat joke. I would rather co-host with Ethan because I feel like he gets me. Thank you. Scott says, dad joke, loved it, the Miami chill. Okay, everyone gets me but you. How did we end up as a pair?
Opposites attract.
Oh, gosh. Oh, dear. Okay.
Alrighty.
We're going to move on to some NFL news. Normally, Skylar and I start off with our, who you got series, who we got for the upcoming week of games. This mask keeps falling down, so I apologize. Big news this week in the coaching world for the NFL. Houston Texans head coach Bill O'Brien got fired on Monday from his head coaching position.
After leading the team to a start of the year 0-4.
Yikes. One of, I think, only 4 or 5 teams in the league that are now 0-4 still. Bill O'Brien was hired in 2014 and led the team to a 52-48 record over his time with the Texans, so he was pretty mediocre at best. I think the Texans did make several playoff appearances with him at the helm, but they did not make it too far. I don't think they made it past the divisional.
Really,
and last year they blew that huge 24-0 lead against the Chiefs in the playoffs. So I think with that, as well as the DeAndre Hopkins trade, that didn't receive a lot of good feedback.
Not at all.
I think there was a lot of criticism with how Bill O'Brien was handling the player personnel. And then apparently recent reports just came out that leading up to his firing, he got in a heated argument with star player J.J. Watt at practice. So the chemistry between him and his players was not there. You could kind of tell that they were getting tired of the leadership. So it obviously was time for a change, and the Texans are now going to have defensive coordinator Romeo Crennel serve as the interim for the rest of the year. He has some head coaching experience with the Cleveland Browns from 2005 to 2008.
And we know those years were sad years for them.
Yeah, so who's to say that he's going to just turn the team around? But you never know. Sometimes that change of leadership is all a team needs. Scott says, I would only cheer for the Lakers because they used to be a Minnesota team. You're right, the Minneapolis Lakers. That's a good call, Scott. Throwing it back.
He's really dating himself there.
Ethan says, get him out of there. Yes, sir, made the worst trade of the decade. Yes, that DeAndre Hopkins trade was
absolutely awful.
Pretty crazy. So, yeah, Bill O'Brien is out of there. I think Texans fans are pretty happy. I would be if my coach wasn't that good and was still there. Need a fresh change.
Absolutely, without a doubt. When it comes back to the trade, I don't know if you remember any of the details, but there was a lot of comparisons between the Stephon Diggs Buffalo Bills trade and then also the trade that the Texans made with Arizona. And let's say, how do you say this?
Houston lost that trade.
Houston lost that trade big. And I feel like both the Bills and the Vikings benefited from their trade, but the Vikings also got a heck of a lot more for Diggs than what Houston got for Hopkins.
And as much as I love Diggs, I think Hopkins is the all-around better receiver. So that was pretty
no
crazy
question to ask. Hopkins is the way better receiver.
We are going to keep it in the NFL now. One of my favorite authors of all time is William Shakespeare, and I love it when Romeo and Juliet said to be or not to be. So we're going to kind of keep it in that realm with a new series called To Keep or Not to Keep, where we look at NFL coaches who are on the hot seat. First, New York Jets head coach Adam Gase is under a lot of fire because the Jets are 0-4 and are playing like absolute crap. During his career as a head coach, Adam Gase is 30-38. Now, that means 30 wins and 38 losses, so that is not good. He was a head coach with the Miami Dolphins before the Jets. With the Dolphins, he was 23-25. With the Jets, he's 7-13. So he has not done well regardless. Now, I know Miami, they were in the same division as New England when Brady was there, so, that's a tough division. But then again, he's in the same division now with the Jets, and Brady's gone with the Patriots. Like, it's kind of out, like, it's anyone's division. Now, I know the Bills are playing well this year, but yeah, he still hasn't delivered. There are a lot of fans clamoring for, like, let Sam Darnold be free. I think they think he's holding him back. So it'll be interesting to see if he lasts, however many weeks he's still there. Do you want to take the next one?
I would imagine with their losing streak that they may or may not just kick him right out the door, just like Houston did with O'Brien. Dan Quinn is the next man on the menu. I won't say that again. But he has a 43-40 record. He blew a 28-3 lead versus New England in the Super Bowl, which is very, like,
that's bad.
It's unheard of. It's really unheard of
crazy.
To lead by that much and then just absolutely blow it. And this year they have led by over 15 points in at least 2 of their games, and they could not pull through. They could not come in and finish off with the win.
Choke artist.
They ended up losing.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Falcons here in case you didn't know who the coach was.
Yeah.
Absolutely should have been gone a while ago, I think. Their defense has just been their weak link, and I think that has to do primarily because of their coach.
Yeah, definitely the coach plays a huge role in the success of the team. We got a few comments. We're going to go backtrack just a little bit. Jonathan asks, do the Texans want a 5th-team all-conference football punter as their head coach? I can only assume he's talking about my co-anchor, Skylar.
I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Moving on. Philip says Gase should have been gone last year. Look at all the players who have thrived once they leave Gase and his shenanigans. Phil, that's a pretty good point, actually. It would probably be benefit because I actually don't know specifically who we can talk about here. If you want to leave in the comments who you're talking about, maybe like Ryan Tannehill.
Robbie Anderson.
He was pretty good with the Jets. I don't know.
He was good, but then he moved to Carolina, and he's just been super consistent nowadays. Yeah. But, like, the year before that, Robbie Anderson was kind of a guy that was only considered a deep threat. He's moved into a position more so dual threat, kind of like short routes, long routes. It doesn't matter. He does it all.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have known that if he stayed with the Jets.
Ethan says Falcons need to fire Dan Quinn and Julio to the Packers, please.
That would be very interesting, yes. I don't think that Julio would fare well with the Packers. I mean, he carries a huge workload with the Falcons. He's getting up there in age right now, and his body, it shows. He's been injury prone the last couple of years. I don't know if the Packers would want to mess with him.
We're going to move on to our last coach we have on the hot seat in our to keep or not to keep. We have Matt Patricia, head coach of the Detroit Lions. In his tenure as the head coach, he was hired in 2018. The Lions are 10-25-1, and that is a 29% winning percentage. 29% winning percent. It's not good. So you have to think, with the Lions being I think 1-3 this year, if he makes it to the bye week, I'd be surprised. There are a lot of people saying he's holding back the team. His in-game game management is pretty suspicious. Who's to say? But I don't think he's going to make it too far. He was great as a defensive coordinator for the Patriots, but sometimes it just doesn't work out where you're great as a coordinator, but you struggle as a coach. That's what Adam Gase has been. He was a great offensive coordinator and has struggled in the head coaching position.
Exactly. And sometimes you're good for one team, but not good for the other.
Yeah. Philip is saying Tannehill, Robbie Anderson, like you said, Skylar, Jarvis Landry, Devontae Parker, Kenyon Drake is hit or miss. Yeah. Parker is definitely, ever since Gase left, he's definitely developed into a pretty good threat for the Dolphins.
I guess I've always considered Jarvis Landry to be more of a Miami guy. I didn't realize he played for the Jets.
No, he's talking about when he was with the Dolphins because Gase was with the Dolphins before.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I thought this was just Jets.
No.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was a little confusing. So Jonathan says, when are the Vikings ever going to have a chance? Winky face. Sorry, Mr. Christensen. Scott, keep bad coaches so the Vikings have a better chance. Oh, I read that in the wrong order, so I butchered that exchange. Well, I'm guilty. I'm so sorry for doing that. Yeah, that's on me. Sorry, America. Do we want to move on to our next segment?
Yeah, what we got up?
Well, we're waiting for Curtis to call in.
Should I do the jingle?
If you want.
Should I attempt the jingle?
If you want. I don't know. That reminded me of that, like, the time in those VeggieTales episodes where Bob's trying to talk and then the computer's like, and so what we have, you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't remember watching the VeggieTales at all.
Throwback to childhood there. How about we go to college football? We got some big matchups coming up this weekend.
We do, yes.
You know, we actually kind of, I do at least, I forget that college football is even happening.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
You can go ahead.
This has just been such a whack year.
Anyways, I'll go ahead.
Shut up. We were out to eat this past weekend and saw, maybe it was 2 weekends ago, saw a college football game going on, and I, for one, like, thought it was a replay game because I forgot that football was even happening. I don't know, it's just not as big a deal this year, and you know, we don't have college football this fall at our school, and that's just such a big part of our semester usually, so it's pretty sad, but I mean, at least there's something. I know some schools have fans, some don't. LSU in Louisiana they just said that they're not going to require their fans to, like, be tested or fill out, like, a self-exam before they enter the stadium. They're just going to advise them to do a self-assessment. So, like, they're basically trusting their fans to come in. You know, I think it's good to let the fans be in the stadium. It's big enough so they can spread out.
Yeah, and obviously, like, it is going to be spread out, but obviously they're still going to have, like, their other, like, mandates that they have going on. And everyone's going to be, like, socially distanced and whatnot. In other news with, like, fans, I know for sure the Vikings are not allowing any fans in their stadium due to state laws. And Cleveland Browns are opening up their gates and letting in, I think, a couple thousand people.
Good.
If I'm not mistaken.
Good.
And they are the only team that I've gotten a notification from that actually will be hosting a large amount of fans compared to the other teams. So that'll be exciting to kind of see. It'll bring back the whole atmosphere to the game.
Yeah. You know, there are some, like, teams in Florida, like I know Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, they've let some fans in. But it's nice to see those other teams in the other part of the country get some fans in. Ethan says he can play the ukulele. Yes. Philip says Jags and Dolphins also just announced that the stands can be completely filled. That's crazy.
That is big news.
That's awesome.
It would be Florida to do that.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. That is great news. It's also very risky. It'll be interesting to kind of see how that plays out into the future. Regarding spikes in cases and how the NFL is going to handle it, how the state itself is going to handle it. As we know, Florida was the biggest hotspot, and like Florida, New York, all of those East Coast states were just a huge hotspot and everything. So it will be a sight to see for sure.
I think it's important, though, to let the fans in. I think it's such a big part of a lot of people's lives.
Exactly.
Try to return to some level of normalcy as best we can. Just wash your hands, please. That's really all you gotta do. But regarding some of the big upcoming football matchups this weekend, we got number 14 Tennessee at number 3 Georgia. Both teams are 2-0. I think that'll be a good game just in the sense that they're ranked fairly close together. So I think that'll be fun. It's weird seeing some conferences play like the SEC and the Big Ten not yet. They're coming in just about 2.5 weeks they'll be starting. So we have Miami, number 7 Miami, at number 1 Clemson. Both teams are 3-0. I think that'll be a good game. I feel like Clemson's probably going to win. Trevor Lawrence, the presumed number 1 pick in this next year's draft, you know, he's automatic, it seems. He's pretty good.
He's definitely a phenomenal athlete. It'd be amazing if he would just transfer to WLC and play for us.
Yeah.
Not that Nick's bad or anything, but, you know, you just can't
Yikes.
compete with Trevor.
Personal attacks. You hate to see it.
You really can't compete with Trevor. That's the only thing. That's all I'm saying.
He's got that flow.
The flow. You can't get rid of the flow.
Yeah.
Next matchup. I'm not even gonna try this one.
It's Florida.
You go ahead and take it. I'm just gonna.
You know how to say Florida?
I don't know how to say Florida.
All right. Oh, number 4 Florida at number 21 Texas A&M. Should be good. We got Curtis calling in.
Curtis is calling in right now.
Guys, our first guest on the show is calling in. This could be big. We're gonna do we have to put on our headphones now?
Yeah, you have to put on your headphones.
Okay.
Alrighty. And now we need to pop out.
Curtis.
What's up, guys?
There we go.
Hey,
Curtis going.
We got it to work. Do you need to put on your headphones?
Let me do the jingle real quick.
Okay. Curtis, we are so happy to have you on Sports Desk. How does it feel to be on the best sports show in America?
Oh, it feels pretty good, Jake. Feels pretty good.
Good.
I'm very excited to be your first guest star. I guess we'll call it.
You are the guest star.
First and definitely not the last. Well, we're happy to have you on the show today. Is there anything you want to start off with specifically to talk about with Curtis? I know you had some stuff lined up.
Curtis, Jake and I went through and picked out games that we thought we would be like the winners of the week and whatnot. So our picks. Games that we want to talk about today. Let's start it off with Kansas City and the Raiders.
Ooh. See, I think that's going to be a very, very good game. But, I mean, come on. In the end, it's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs all the way. The Raiders have definitely improved this year, but I think the Chiefs are definitely going to take this one just because the offensive weapons are so dangerous and the defense is capable of making really big plays. So I got the Chiefs on this one.
All right. Okay. So what about an injured San Francisco team against Miami?
I'm still going San Francisco. You got a little Fitzmagic, but even with the injury to Mostert and Coleman, the 49ers still have a pretty dangerous run game with Jerick McKinnon and Jeff Wilson, and Mostert is supposed to be back this game.
If I'm not mistaken, Jerick McKinnon just got put on the IR.
Again?
Oh, did he?
I think so.
He cannot catch a break.
Apparently
he really
not.
can't.
So, Curtis, even with Nick Mullins getting benched in the last game, do you think if CJ Beathard starts for the Niners that he's going to be able to lead them to victory?
I really do. The Dolphins are really inconsistent to me. And Kyle Shanahan is a really, really good coach, and I think he'll figure out a way to pull it out against a very inconsistent team.
Okay. How about Minnesota at Seattle? We got a primetime Sunday night matchup. The Vikings have struggled a lot in Seattle in recent years. I believe losing 6 of their last 7 there.
And in primetime.
And Kirk Cousins is the quarterback. Not a lot going for them. What do you think? Do you think the Vikings come out on top in this game?
Unfortunately, Jake, I know that as a Minnesota sports fan, I'm letting you down. But Russell Wilson is putting up major MVP numbers this year.
It's true this year for sure.
He's got he's got probably the most dangerous receiving duo in Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. And not one, if not at least one of the most dangerous duos. So I just think that with Wilson putting up the numbers that he's just going to absolutely shred the Vikings secondary. So
yeah, well, the Vikings secondary is so young and inexperienced, so I can definitely see a big day for Wilson in this game.
It is definitely subpar. Jake and I also went with Seattle over the Vikings.
Yeah,
it hurts, but at some point you got to be realistic about things.
No, I'm optimistic. I think I want to be wrong, but I don't think we will. I want to be wrong. Curtis, do you mind talking to us a little bit about the MLB playoff situation? I know we got some games going on right now. I don't know if you've seen the scoreboard, but Tampa Bay was up 8-2 on the Yankees in Game 3 tonight. How do you see that series playing out?
Well, see, so I filled out one of those brackets on MLB.com before the series started, and I had the Rays easily making it to the World Series, but after seeing how the Yankees have been playing, I think that it's definitely going to be a really, really tough matchup in this ALDS form. I actually think that in the end the Yankees are going to come out on top, unfortunately. I just think that Giancarlo Stanton is tearing the cover off the ball right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that offense is really, really dangerous when it's on. The Rays have really, really good pitching, but as we saw in Game 1, the Yankees can really come out guns blazing against that pitching. So, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, I really think that the Yankees are going to advance to the ALCS. I think it'll be in 5 games, but I think the Yankees are coming out on this one.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I'm with you on that. I hope the Yankees don't win because it seems like they're always there. But yeah, I hope we're both wrong. I hope the Rays can win. What about the LA San Diego series? LA's up 1-0. Do you think the Padres with Tatis, Machado, all those weapons can come out on top?
I really thought that the Padres were gonna give the Dodgers a little bit of a fight. My Brewers, unfortunately, they didn't they didn't put up all that much of a fight, but at the same time, the Dodgers really didn't look all that strong against the Brewers. I don't know if they were just saving their best stuff for later or what was going on.
Yeah.
But I really thought that the Padres were going to give them a run for their money. But I don't know. After that game 1, I mean, I know it wasn't that big of a blowout, but I think the score was not a showing of the actual like gameplay. Like I really thought that the Dodgers manhandled the Padres on every side of the ball. So I think it's going to be Dodgers in 3 or 4.
Okay. Earlier you said my Brewers, implying the Brewers are your favorite team, if I'm not mistaken. And you said that they lost to the Dodgers. What do you think the Brewers have to do this offseason to be better next year, maybe make a further playoff run?
Oh, gosh, Jake, they're going to have to do a lot.
I mean, they scraped by to get into the playoffs this year, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a losing record, so.
First
impressive.
playoff, first team to ever have a losing record and make the playoffs. So we have
They're
that
making
going.
history in the wrong way.
Yeah, we have that going for us. But no,
We love that. Maddie.
Shout out to Maddie Workus if you're out there.
She's out there somewhere.
But yeah, this was one of the most frustrating years I've ever watched Brewers, and I've been a fan since 2011. So it's only been 10 years, but it's been an interesting 10 years. Where the Brewers have always had the offense. Like, they've always been really good at bringing up good hitters and ripping the cover off the ball, but then they can't develop the pitching that they need because they're not a big market team, so they can't just like buy their pitching that they need. So they've got to develop it, and they just haven't been able to do that recently.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And it's just this year, it was the exact opposite. The Brewers could pitch. The Brewers had one of the best strikeout rates. The bullpen had one of the best strikeout rates in MLB history. I mean, given it was a short season, but the pitching did really well, and the offense hit franchise worst 223, I think.
Wow.
So it was just a really frustrating year if you're a Brewers fan, and we're going to have to do a lot to get some hitters this year, and they're going to have to get creative.
That is true. If we're talking about like team favorites and whatnot, Jake's favorite team is the Twins, who were also in the playoffs, and they got absolutely swept.
Yeah, they did not do well. Kind of like what you said, Curtis. The pitching was good for the Twins against the Astros, but they just couldn't seem to hit. And I think that's where a lot of mid-market teams struggle with. They develop one aspect of the team, and that carries them into the playoffs, but then they kind of become exposed to their weaknesses when it comes to playing like the best well-rounded teams, like the Yankees, who have Garrett Cole, one of the best pitchers. They also have Giancarlo Stanton and all of that. So the playoffs is when you see all of the best teams and all that. Are you fixing the camera?
I am, yes.
Okay. So yeah, we are going to move on to your picks for the NBA Finals. Do you think that the Heat can pull an insane comeback, or do you think they're going to lose on Friday night to the Lakers?
I actually have this written in my notes that I have. Yes, I have notes for this show. That's how
I love it.
That's how nervous I was to come on here. But
what is he saying? I can't hear him.
He's saying that he has notes because he's so nervous.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay.
All right,
Sorry, Curtis.
But
Take it away.
I actually have in here 4 words. Heat I wrote it wrong. Lakers end it tomorrow. Those are the 4 words I have when talking about the NBA Finals. Yes.
Really?
Interesting.
Okay.
Bam Adebayo is coming back tomorrow, I believe. I believe the game is tomorrow.
I think it's Friday, actually.
It's Friday.
I think it's
It's
Friday.
Friday?
It's
Okay,
Friday. I did
well
my
then.
research.
Okay, well then, Keith Bowling. Shout out to Keith Bowling, but in a bad way. He told me the game was on tomorrow, so.
Well, Keith is leading you astray, and we're not going to let him do that.
Apparently, but
No, because the game was just played last night. So you would think that they would do like your standard 2-day break and then game up, but when I was looking earlier today, it said Friday.
yeah. Okay, well, then the Lakers are going to end it on Friday, and Yeah, Bam Adebayo is coming back. So that's going to be a big win for the Heat.
Okay.
But I don't know.
You don't think it's enough?
LeBron James and Anthony Davis have just been so strong for them in this series, and I just don't really see them letting up, and I don't really see him Bam Adebayo doing all that much coming off of that injury. It's his first game back after a couple games off. He's going to be a little rusty, and I think the Lakers are just going to take advantage right out the gate.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the Lakers are so strong with their depth with Rondo, Kuzma, Caruso, so I feel like they are the more well-rounded team. I was telling Skylar earlier in the episode, I want the Heat to come back. I'm just not sure they have the strength for it.
We saw a similar situation earlier in the playoffs when the Celtics were down Gordon Hayward, who eventually came back. I think it was against the Heat. And they ended up winning the first game back for Hayward, which kind of is like you have a team that you're playing and you don't account for a player because he's been out, and then all of a sudden he's just that spark that you need for that one game until they can make those adjustments to actually stop him. And he is a playmaker. That's been seen in these last few games. So I definitely feel like the Heat are going to take this next game.
I actually was just brought to my attention, Jonathan mentioned that Bam actually did play yesterday. So he has been back for a game. I don't know how well he did. I think he scored, double-digit points. I don't, obviously wasn't enough, but, maybe there was some rust there in that first game back. Maybe he'll be a little more seasoned to Friday. But, who's to say? He might still be a little rusty nursing an injury. So
forget what I just said then.
Forget what I just said, too.
Completely irrelevant.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe the Heat do take one on Friday then. But
you
I don't know. Either way, whether they win on Friday, whether they win the next game, whatever, I still think the Lakers have got this one in the bag.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I respect it.
Curtis, if you don't mind, I'm going to change the direction here a little bit. If I'm correct, you are spearheading a wiffle ball tournament at a local campus this weekend. Do you care to elaborate on that, please?
Indeed, I would love to. So on the 10th, which is this Saturday, I am running a little wiffle ball tournament on campus. It's going to be in the quad and the Generac lawn. For you WLC people listening, if you want to come, please feel free to join.
If you want to join Team SportzDescx, we'll be winning the tournament.
Yes,
I actually won't be there.
But it's $5 you pay $5 a person to play, and there are going to be teams of 6, 3 guys and 3 girls on each team, and 100% of the money that's being paid to get into the tournament and any other donations that anybody would want to give, 100%, all of it is going to the American Cancer Society for future research and things of that nature.
Well, that's awesome, Curtis.
Yes, I'm going to be giving a few statistics. I got some notes from the American Cancer Society. They actually emailed me some talking points, so I'm going to be giving a little bit of a talk before the event starts, and I think I'm going to have Pastor Chevy a quick devotion beforehand as well, and then we're hoping to kick off the festivities by 2:30.
Oh, that's awesome, Curtis. It sounds like a great event for a great cause.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible, dude. You're awesome.
Yeah, so thank you so much for doing that. Anyone watching, listening from WLC, check out Curtis's event. The proceeds go to a great cause. Show some love, show some support, and I mean, wiffle ball. That's just a fun game in general to play. It's like
absolutely.
It's like minor league baseball. You're almost there, but not quite. So, sounds like a great event. We're so happy that you're doing that.
Thank you, Jake. And we actually have all the equipment as well, so don't have to worry about bringing any balls. But if you do have a wiffle bat sitting in your garage that you're not using, we could use a couple of those.
So just a disclaimer, if I have an aluminum bat, I can't use that.
If you want to bring an aluminum bat, you are more than welcome to, but just saying the wiffle ball bats work a little better, I think.
Okay.
I have a paper towel roll. Will that work?
You could try it.
Will a heavy-duty pen suffice?
Hey, depends on the biceps, and I know from your bio that you got at least one of those.
Well, yeah, I'm still working on the second one, so I'll probably just swing with the good arm. Yeah.
I can bring the uke.
Oh, you might have to talk with another individual about that.
Mason Kobilic says, "Love you, Kurty."
Mason, what's up, buddy? Love you too, buddy.
Mason,
Thanks
he
for
loves
watching.
you. He loves you.
That's my good buddy from Fond du Lac. He actually lives in Oakfield,
Oh, okay.
but we went to high school together, so he's one of my good buds.
Well,
Thanks,
Mason, if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in to Sports Desk. Jonathan says tennis is greater than wiffle ball and pickleball. What do you think on that, Curtis?
Oh, I mean, tennis is a great sport, but no.
I
No,
would
it's
say
not.
I've never played tennis before.
Tennis?
I've also never played tennis either. So, wiffle ball, you can kind of just pick it up and do it. But
Exactly.
tennis takes some skill. And not saying that Jonathan has the skill, but
I was gonna say, don't give him a big head. Keep him humble.
Has Jonathan ever played wiffle ball? That is the real question here.
Yeah, Jonathan, answer.
Answer it, Jonathan.
Answer.
Jonathan, we want to hear you.
What's the word, stinky turd?
The world wants to know. Curtis, let's play sometime. Okay, but that doesn't answer the question, Jonathan. He's
Hey.
scared. I think that means he hasn't.
I think so too. He's trying to make up for it by making me play tennis.
Wii tennis.
I've played Wii tennis.
I already have a big head. I played wiffle ball in PE. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But not
So not competitively.
Yeah, not
Not in the real, not in the wiffle ball tournament.
Not the real thing.
I don't know, Jonathan. Wiffle ball seems pretty top tier, says Phil. I have to agree with you, Phil. I think wiffle ball trumps tennis. Better than pancake ball. Is that a real sport? Is that a real thing?
I mean, we didn't cover that in our unique sport edition.
So it can't be real.
It's got to be fake. Never heard of it, so
That's fake news.
just making it up.
Fake.
Going back to some professional sports here, Curtis. Do you know much about the NHL at all?
I unfortunately do not follow the NHL very much now.
Oh, okay. Do you know who ended up winning the Stanley Cup?
Somebody told me earlier, but don't remember.
All right, well, it doesn't really matter because it wasn't my team.
It rhymes with Rampa Lay Lightning.
Do
Do you think that's too easy?
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Is it-
Anyways, so they kind of wrapped up their season with the Stanley Cup final win. The Tampa Bay Lightning did.
You
And
gave it away.
basically, that happened 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago or so. And they've already started their drafting for next season. And I don't know if this has anything to do with COVID kind of putting a fork in their schedule. But yeah, they had their championship, and then they're right back into the draft, which is pretty cool, I think. I feel like I wish that was how all teams did it. Just so you really knew what you were working with, and then those players could get acclimated to playing at a different level. But the NHL draft just took place, first round out of 7, and that took place last night, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. The way that they do it is definitely different, and I know the NHL is one of those professional leagues that you just don't really hear much about. They're about equal with the WNBA, I'd say, in terms of professional sports.
But WNBA is
and their-
important. We're
and their-
not
and their
saying
coverage.
yes.
It is the Seattle Storm. Congratulations to the Seattle Storm for winning the WNBA Finals.
Good job, Seattle.
I bet nobody heard of that.
They swept.
Just like
they
just like nobody
swept
heard of
them.
the NHL.
Who
But
did they play? Who did they play in the finals?
yeah.
See, that's a really good question. I can tell you
So-
the score of the game though. The score of the winning game, they crushed them. It was
Oh. Yeah, it wasn't
92
even
to
close.
58.
Ooh, yikes! You
I
hate
was-
to see that.
The rest of the games were pretty close. The rest of the games were only won by 10, I think. But the last game, 92 to 58.
How fitting is it that Seattle wins the championship? You know, making it rain. Seattle, it rains a lot.
That's why they're
Your
that's
jokes
why
are just
they're
getting
called the
better
Storm.
and better as the night goes on.
I see what you did there. They're called the Storm.
They don't pay me. Oh yeah, that too. They don't pay me enough for this job.
How cool would it be to see? I mean, not that I really want this to happen, but how cool would it be to see the WNBA team win a championship and then also the Seahawks win a championship?
I was thinking the same thing, honestly.
It'd be so cool.
Good
That's
for
how cool
Seattle.
it would be. It'd just be so cool.
So cool.
So Kurt, we were kind of thinking of something right a little bit before we started the show, and we were thinking of kind of having comment questions of the day, and the one that I threw out there for our comment question of the day is, what song would you like Jake and I to cover on the uke?
Are you actually doing this? Are we doing this?
Oh, man. Oh.
Do you know how to play the ukulele?
I will learn.
Can you learn how to play Blinding Lights by The Weeknd on there?
That's about all I know.
I feel like I don't really want to sing anything by the weekend.
No. 40 minutes in already. I think we need to start winding up here fairly soon.
I feel like that's not the worst idea in the world. I have homework. I don't know, Curtis, if you have any homework or if Jake has any homework, but I know I do.
I indeed have homework as well.
It has been a joy having you on the show. Thank you so much for being our first guest.
Thank you, Curtis.
We'd love to have you again sometime in the near future. You just got to let us know your schedule. And if you're interested, if anybody in the comments has any questions on their fantasy team, Jake and I, Curtis can even throw in his input. But yeah, we'll answer anything you guys want. Stay on for the next couple of minutes, and if there's nothing else, kind of call it a night.
We'll call it a night for this week if there are no questions or comments. Famous people have homework. Crazy. I wouldn't say famous yet, pending, but maybe someday. Maybe someday. I like to think of us as Scott Van Pelt's with hair. We're kind of in that. We're on that path to be Sports Center anchors. But yeah, no, Curtis, again, I just want to thank you. And if you tell your friends about Sports Desk, for all you watching, if you would like to be a guest on the show, please reach out to either Skylar or I or Curtis. He was, as the first one, he was kind of the guinea pig, so he knows how it runs. We'd love to ask you guys questions.
Love to get your input on things too.
Ethan says he enjoyed the show, fellas. This is fantastic. Thanks for the love, Ethan. If you would like to apply to replace Skylar, I'll accept any application. As you can see, we just don't seem to mesh well. I feel like you and I would have a much better on-screen chemistry. So send in that application any day, and I will gladly hire you on the spot.
There's trouble in paradise.
It doesn't look like there's any questions, so I think we're going to end tonight's episode. Thank you all for watching. I'm not sure how to end the sharing this whole deal.
Curtis can just go ahead and end the call.
I will just end the call. Thank you, guys.
You have a good night, dude.
Curtis, have a good night.
Good luck with your homework.
Thank you. You too, buddy.
We'll see you around, Kurt.
Bye, Curtis. Yeah. So that was our first guest on the. Yeah, we're good. We'll just end. That's fine. That was our first guest appearance. Hopefully, there'll be more. Have a great night, everyone. Sports Desk.
Sports Desk. Eat fresh. I missed it.